In our previous two lessons, we've looked at adding sign numbers, and today we're going to start subtracting sign numbers. Okay? We need to pay close attention to see if we know this relationship between these two operations. All right? Between addition and subtraction, there is a unique relationship. To help us subtract, we will again draw some diagrams. Remember the following. If we have a positive symbol, that represents positive 1. If we have a negative symbol, that negative symbol represents negative 1, and together these symbols form a zero pair. 1 plus negative 1 is equal to 0. They're opposites, they're additive inverses, they form a zero-sum pair. Another important fact to remember is the additive identity property. The additive identity property states that adding 0 to a number does not change the value of the number. So any number A plus 0 is going to give you that original number back. Okay, so keep in mind again, a positive and a negative form a zero-sum pair. And if you add 0 to a number, the number is unchanged. In example number 1, it asks us to draw a diagram to show the subtraction problem 4 minus 6. First thing that we're going to do is draw 4 positive symbols to represent the number 4. So let's go ahead and do that. 1, 2, 3, 4 positive symbols. There's the number 4. And remember that subtracting is essentially telling you to take something away. We've got 4 positives, and they want us to take away 6 positives. Well, we don't have enough positives to take away 6, so what we need to do is add zero-sum pairs until we do have enough positives. How many zero-sum pairs do we need to add? Okay, well, remember what we said above, adding 0 to a number does not change the value. So I'm going to add a zero-sum pair, which again is a positive with a negative. Okay, since this part is equal to 0, 0 plus 4, this entire diagram is still equal to 4. Okay, now I can see I've got this many positives. I need to take away 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I still don't have enough positives, so I'm going to add another zero-sum pair. There's another zero-sum pair. Okay, and again, I just added another 0, so all of this is still equal to 4. 0 plus 4, all of this is 4. And now I'm looking at my diagram, and I'm going to see if I can take away 6 positives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I now have enough positives to take away 6. So we had to add 2 zero pairs in order to make this possible. Okay, so now if we take away the 6 positives, which is taking away 6, subtracting 6, what will be left over? Well, we're going to take away these 6 positives, they're gone, and what's left over are the 2 negatives. So 4 minus 6, the difference is negative 2. Okay. What addition problem is related to this subtraction problem? Okay, this subtraction problem is related to an addition problem that would give us the exact same answer. Okay, if I started with 4, okay, I could add 6 negatives and come up with negative 2. Remember, if we had 1, 2, 3, 4 positives, and I add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 negatives, remember, all of these zero pairs can go away, and I still have 2 negatives left over. So 4 minus 6 is exactly the same as 4 plus negative 6. In example number 2, they want us to find the difference for each problem by drawing a diagram similar to the diagram that we drew above. In example A, the subtraction problem is 1 minus 5. The 1 is positive, so I'm going to start with 1 positive symbol. And they want me to take away 5 positives. Well, I only have 1 positive, so I'm going to have to add zero-sum pairs until I can take away 5 positives. So there's my first zero-sum pair, but I only have 2 positives, so I'm going to add another zero-sum pair. Now I have 3 positives, so I'm going to add another zero-sum pair. I'm up to 4 positives. Let's add another zero-sum pair. And there are the 5 positives that I can take away. Okay, so if I go ahead and do that, I'm going to subtract or take away those 5 positives, And my answer is 1, 2, 3, 4 negatives, or negative 4. Okay, 1 minus 5 is equal to negative 4. What addition problem is that related to? Well, again, if I start out with 1 positive, all right, and I go ahead and I add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negatives, if I take away that 0 pair, that also leaves me with negative 4. So 1 minus 5 is the same as 1 plus negative 5. It gives us the exact same result. In letter B, we have 3 minus 7. The 3 is positive, so again, we're going to add 1, 2, 3 positives to start. They want me to take away 7 positives. Well, I don't have 7 positives, so I'm going to add zero-sum pairs until I do have 7 positives that I can take away. So here's my first 0. Here's another 0. Here's another 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's only 6 positives, so I better add another 0. Okay, now I have 7 positives that I can take away. They're gone. And my result, again, is negative 4. 3 minus 7 is equal to negative 4. What addition problem would this be related to? Well, again, if I start out with 3 positives, I'm going to have to add 7 negatives in order to come up with negative 4. There's my 3 positives. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 negatives. Okay, and again, if I get rid of those zeros, they're gone. There's my 4 negatives that are left over. So hopefully you're starting to see a relationship between the addition and the subtraction. All right, 1 minus 5 is the same as 1 plus negative 5. 3 minus 7 is the same as 3 plus negative 7. My first number stays the same in each case, but then I add the opposite of my second number. Minus 5 is the same as plus negative 5. Minus 7 is the same as plus negative 7. In our previous examples, we were asked to take away positives, and in this example, we're going to start to take away negatives. We have 5 minus negative 3, and again, I'm going to draw a diagram to represent this problem. So my 5 is a positive number. I'm going to start by drawing 5 positive symbols. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positives. And they're asking me to take away 3 negatives. I don't have any negatives in my picture so far, so what I'm going to have to do again is add my zero-sum pairs until I can take away 3 negatives. So let's add in a zero-sum pair. There's 1. Okay, there's my first negative. Let's add in another zero-sum pair. All right, I've got 2 negatives now, but I have to take away 3 negatives, so let's add in another zero-sum pair. Okay, and now I'm going to take away the 3 negatives. So here they are. I'm going to take them away. And my answer is what is left over. Well, I started with 5 positives, and now I have 3 more. So 5 minus negative 3 is equal to positive 8. What addition problem is this related to? Well, again, if I start with 5 positives, in order to get up to 8 positives, I need to add 3 more positives. So again, this is related to the same thing that we saw earlier. I can rewrite this as an addition problem by keeping the first number and then adding the opposite of the second number. 5 minus negative 3 is the same as 5 plus 3. In example 4, we're again going to draw a diagram to find the answer to the subtraction problems. Negative 2 minus negative 5. So I'm going to start with 2 negatives. 1, 2. I need to take away 5 negatives. I only have 2, so I'm going to add in my zero-sum pairs. So here's my first 0, again a negative and a positive. Here's another zero-sum pair. Here's another zero-sum pair. And now I have 5 negatives that I can take away. So I'm going to get rid of those. And my answer, notice, is positive 3. The addition problem that this is related to, if I start with 2 negatives, in order to end up with 3 positives, I have to add 5 positives. 2 negatives, add 5 positives. Get rid of your 0 pairs, and there's the 3 positives, okay? So they're related to each other. In example B, 1 minus negative 4, starting with 1 positive, take away 4 negatives. Well, there aren't any negatives, so let's add in our zeros. There's a 0, there's another, and another, and another, and now I have 4 negatives that I can take away. So let's go ahead and do that. They're gone, and I'm left with 5 positives. Okay, so 1 minus negative 4 is equal to 5, and it's related to the addition problem. If I start with 1 positive, I need to add 4 more positives in order to get 5 positives. Keep the first number the same and add the opposite of the second number. So in each example that we've done, we've shown that we can take the subtraction problem and rewrite it as an addition problem. All right, so here in the box, this explains the process for changing a subtraction problem into an addition problem. To rewrite a subtraction problem as an addition problem, you keep the first number the same, and then you add the opposite of the second number, okay, the number that's being subtracted. Add the opposite of that number. So for these 6 examples, we're going to practice doing that. We're not going to draw diagrams for these. We're just going to rewrite them as addition problems and then follow the rules for adding integers, okay? So let's go ahead and do this. In letter A, we have 3 minus 4. I'm going to rewrite this as an addition problem first. I keep the first number, so I'm going to rewrite 3. And then I'm going to add the opposite of the number being subtracted. So I'm going to add the opposite of positive 4, which is negative 4. Okay, now these have different signs, so I'm going to subtract the absolute values. 4 minus 3 is 1, and I keep the sign of the number with the greater absolute value, which happens to be the negative number. 3 minus 4 is negative 1. In letter B, negative 3 minus 10, I'm going to keep the first number. I'm going to add the opposite of the second number, which is 10, so the opposite of that is negative 10. Negative 3 plus negative 10. The signs are the same, so I'm just going to add the numbers and keep the sign. 3 plus 10 is 13, and they're all negative. Negative 3 minus 10 is negative 13. 0 minus 12. Now don't fall for a trick here and just say that the answer is 12. Rewrite this as an addition problem. 0 plus the opposite of 12 is negative 12. Keep the first, add the opposite of the second number. 0 plus negative 12 is negative 12. So 0 minus 12 is negative 12. 0 minus negative 12. Well, again, keep the first number 0. Add the opposite of the second number. The second number is negative 12. Its opposite is positive 12. 0 plus 12 is 12. So 0 minus negative 12 is also 12. 6/10 minus negative 34/100. Keep 6/10 the same. Add the opposite of negative 34/100, which is positive 34/100. They're both the same sign. They're both positive, so I'm just going to add these numbers together. Okay, put a 0 there. 0 and 4 is 4. 6 and 3 is 9. Bring your decimal down. 0, 0, 0. We get an answer of 94/100. Finally, letter F, 3 and 86/100 minus 6 and 4/10. Again, let's change it to an addition. We keep 3 and 86/100. We add the opposite of 6 and 4/10, which is negative 6 and 4/10. These numbers now have different signs. I'm going to keep the sign of the number with the greater absolute value, which is negative 6 and 4/10, so my answer is going to be negative. And now I'm going to subtract because these are different signs. 6 and 4/10 minus 3 and 86/100. Put a 0. We can't do this subtraction. 0 becomes a 10. 4 becomes a 3. 10 minus 6 is 4. 3 minus 8 we can't do. The 3 becomes a 13. The 6 becomes a 5. 13 minus 8 is 5. Bring your decimal down. 5 minus 3 is 2. And we get an answer here of negative 2 and 54/100. So again, to change a subtraction into an addition problem, keep the first number and add the opposite of the second number, which is the number being subtracted.